15 years in general practice as a practice manager and PCM manager. So if you have any questions, either during the session or afterwards, feel free. I should be able to answer anything that's sort of more clinical that I can take back to our clinical lead and feed back to you. So I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully you'll be able to see the signs slides pop up on the screen.
Yeah.
Please do let me know. Perfect. Thanks, Melanie. So See the Signs was started by NHS doctors, a GP and a hospital doctor. We've been running now for about 8 years. And See the Signs is a clinical decision support tool to help yourselves in primary care detect cancer earlier and faster. So we've got the point of care decision support tool, which I'm going to be running through today. But alongside that, we do other sort of services as well. We do patient assessment through sort of self-referrals. So a patient can sort of answer a questionnaire, and that can actually bypass primary care completely and go into a secondary care pathway, helping to free up space within general practice. And we also do sort of population case finding as well. So again, a list of patients, we can proactively go out to those patients and invite them to, again, complete an assessment and follow the same sort of pathways. And that's something we can look in down the line for Northamptonshire. So I just thought I'd show a little bit of data initially. So this is Somerset. This is our highest using ICB in area. And you can see here, obviously, a couple of figures. I'm not going to go through them all, about how implementing See the Signs into their day-to-day practice has really helped them with their early cancer detection. I can share these slides afterwards for anybody that would like to see them. Again, I'm not going to go through all of them, but again, you can see a little bit of sort of information here about the accuracy of See the Signs and sort of times improved and patients sort of being caught at those much earlier stages, cancers 1 and 2, where obviously where we want to be able to see that change. Now, later on, I hope about May, June time, we're implementing Jess's rule into the dashboard. So again, that's where it will give you sort of a notification to say, this patient has been to see you 2 or 3 times for the same condition. Would you like to run a risk assessment for this patient, and sort of bring that to your attention? And you can hopefully sort of pick up any harder to detect or any sort of those signs that possibly might have been missed that way as well. And again, you can just see the sort of notification you'll get pop up on the screen there. Now, I'm not going to go sort of talk too much further on the slides. Again, just let me know. I can share these at the end, and I can also sort of share any guides on how to use See the Signs, short videos. If you've forgotten anything that I've gone through today, very easy sort of short guides to go through to sort of help you on your way. So I am going to just jump out of here, and I'm going to demo on System 1 today. If anybody is on EMIS, the platform works the same way. So whilst I sort of might go back and refer to System 1, please don't worry if you're on EMIS, because there is no difference once you're into the platform. Now, hopefully anyone on the call today should have their login details for See the Signs. They were sent out, if your data agreement has been signed, to the lead in the practice, normally the practice manager. But if anybody doesn't have those login details, I'll pop our support email in the chat and just reach out to us, and we can get those details out to you so you can get started, along with, again, a very short guide on how to get into the platform and how to log in. It's really quick. So System 1, obviously your clinical system, you'll see the See the Signs dashboard that just sits above your clinical system. We appreciate that you probably have AccuRx or possibly your phone system also sitting up on your clinical system, and it can look quite busy. So if you want to reduce our dashboard down, you can do. You just go into the account button, which is just the C that I'm hovering over here, click on that and shrink, and it will just go to a tiny little square. And again, you can hover over it as and when you want to use it. You can minimize it so it sits at the bottom of your screen, although we don't recommend that, because actually sometimes seeing that dashboard does sort of prompt you to use it. So it's always good to keep it there. So as you can see, there's several tabs. I'll go through them in turn. So the first tab is what we call the patient tab, and that's predominantly the clinical side of the system. So in here, there's several sort of drop downs. So I'm going to go through in reverse order. First one is the resources. This is good for any clinicians on the call, but also any administrators, care coordinators, social prescribers, anyone that might be holistically looking after a patient. And in here, we've built in every possible resource that you could wish for, from benefits. You know, if you've got a patient that comes to you asking what benefits they're entitled to, you can sort of signpost them through here. And again, we're working on any sort of local resources. So if there's anything that you use locally to you, you can send that to us and we'll upload it onto here so that you can very easily send this out to the patient. So not only can you download and hand physically a patient some information, you can very easily text it or email it to them as well. We'll automatically pull the information through from the clinical system if it's there. Then we've got our fit safety netting tool. So again, handing out a patient or maybe requesting a fit test for a patient, then you want to safety net that to ensure that the patient is bringing it back in good time. You can very quickly do this by popping into that tab. Again, it automatically picks up the patient details for you, and you can easily share the fit patient information leaflet as well, so advising the patient how to complete their fit test. That's actually available in multiple languages as well, so keeping that accessible for everybody. It will automatically pick up the relevant SNOMED codes. You can pop in any consultation notes here, say if you keep going back into your clinical system, and once you're happy with that, you can submit and send, and that will automatically code back to your clinical system, so you don't need to go back in and do it again. And once that is done, that patient will then go up into our dashboard, our safety netting dashboard, which I'll come to in a little bit. Then we've got, for all the times that you know exactly what route you want to send your patient down, you know that you want to refer them forward into secondary care, all the referral forms for Northamptonshire, as well as any neighbouring hospitals, maybe Oxfordshire, Warwickshire, they're all in here for you. If you're missing any when you go in, again, just let us know. We can get those sent through from the ICB. And again, when you go into here, there is a drop down. All your referral forms will be in here. You have to bear with me, my internet connection is pretty rubbish today, which is why it's being a bit slow. Again, you can just quickly select whatever form you need, and see the site will start populating that for you from the clinical system to save you some time. And then the only thing that's left in the patient tab, the clinical tab, is the risk assessment. So this is for all the times that you're maybe getting those sort of a patient with vague symptoms. You just want to double check a route, you want to check any NICE guidance to see whether your patient is eligible for a referral into secondary care, then you can do that here. And you can do that one of two ways. You can either go into the system button, and here it will outline all the bodily system. And as you click on each area, you can pick more than one if you want to. It will outline all the symptoms, investigations, signs associated with that bodily system and any cancer risk. Again, it's pulling all the information through from the clinical system for you. And you just tick off what is relevant and scroll to the bottom to risk assess. So the other way is to search. So you can search for any particular symptom that the patient is presenting with. So I'm going to be very vague today. I'm going to pop in appetite loss and weight loss and proceed. And again, it will highlight any bodily area that might be relevant to. And you can add anything in. Maybe they've had some recent tests. You can pop those in as well. Scroll to the bottom as before and risk assess. It takes less than 30 seconds. And then see the signs is checking the system, checking NICE guidance and checking your local pathways. So I'm obviously demoing on a dummy system today. So what you're seeing on here might not necessarily be what you're seeing on your risk assessment. And again, there might not be any recommendation at all. So it is sort of worth running those through. In this instance, it's recommending a diagnostic route. So have you thought about a chest x-ray for this patient? Or you might decide that, you know, I know my patient, I know this is something not quite right here. I want to refer straight in, and you can just action that accordingly. If you choose not to action, that doesn't save back to the clinical system. So it's only recording what you're actually actioning. And again, there's another opportunity here for you to send your patient their information leaflet as well. And again, that will code back to the clinical system to say that you've sent it. Once you're happy, proceed to the referral form. The referral forms in the system, when you start using them, will be familiar to you. They'll be your referral forms. Nothing's changed in that respect. As I said before, it will start porting through all the information that it has, including the information that we've popped into that risk assessment previously. If you've missed anything, it might flag, so you need to fill this in, but we haven't put many of those sort of mandated fields in for Northamptonshire as yet. And once you're happy, you can just generate that referral form. Then the final summary page gives you an opportunity to complete your consultation again, so you don't have to keep flipping in between the See the Science dashboard and the clinical system. You can take anything out, add anything in, do your consultation as you normally would. It will also pick up the relevant SNOMED codes as well. If at this point you think that's not appropriate at the moment, I want to take it out, then you just click on the SNOMED code highlighted in green, and it will go to grey, so you can say that hasn't been included in your consultation summary. Being System 1, this is actually the only difference between System 1 and EMIS practices. With EMIS, you don't have the option at the top here to save as a final version or a draft, because you can easily go back in on EMIS and amend the referral form. Whereas System 1, if you mark it as a final version, it locks the referral form up and you can't go back in and edit it. So if in your practice, as a clinician, you complete your referral form, and then maybe your secretarial team complete it fully, add in any sort of consultation or patient records, then just save it as a draft, and then they can go back in and amend that. I'm going to save it as a final version today, and then we've saved the patient notes, and then it will pop up into our dashboard as well. So I'll just quickly show you here. This is the referral form that we've just done. And it's also sort of confirmed that information leaflet has gone out to the patient as well. At that point, your secretarial team get a notification, like a pop-up box, just below the tabs up here. It says there's a new urgent suspected cancer referral form to be done. And the reason why we highlight this separately is because we know that obviously in practices, a lot of clinicians will task their secretarial team. That task can get lost within the hundreds of other tasks that are sent in general practice on a day-to-day basis, and there's an opportunity for that referral form to be missed. It's doesn't happen very, very often, but it does happen. So once your secretarial team have got that here, they will see the referral forms. They can copy and paste that NHS number into the clinical system, and then they complete the referral form as they normally would and send off via ERS. And once they're happy, they can just tick off, I forgot to see one previously, tick off those referral forms. And then if you wanted to, as clinicians, go back and check later whether that referral form has been done, that inbox will be empty. And at that point, it then moves on to our safety netting dashboard. So all patients that go through the See the Science dashboard, whether that be a risk assessment, whether that be a fit request, or just a straightforward urgent cancer referral, will go on to the safety netting dashboard. The first tab, the active tab, is what it says really, any active referral that has been sent to secondary care. And we sort of highlight it on a traffic light system, so you can easily see how long that patient has been waiting for. And then also any sort of actions that need to be taken place, whether the patient has attended their appointment, Again, it shows you it's been sent by ERS. Now, there's a slight little bit of configuration to do when you set up with See the Signs for See the Signs and the clinical system, whether that be System 1 or EMIS, better speak to each other. And once that configuration is done, what See the Signs does, it scans the record every so often and pulls through any updates. So if a patient is confirmed with a cancer, it will automatically pull that through, and they will move on to the cancer confirmed board. And at this point, you can see easily see what cancer they've been diagnosed with. And there's an opportunity also here to complete any cancer care reviews. Now, obviously, cancer care reviews aren't part of PROF anymore, but a lot of practices are still doing them. So we've included really simple templates that they can be done really easily for you. I'm just going to pop back to the active board quickly, because this is also where your Fit Safety Netting tab is located. So rather than all, if you just click on Fit, again, all here will be every fit test that has been recorded. Again, it will automatically pull through the results, so you can see whether any next steps need to be taken. And it will also keep track of how long that patient hasn't completed their fit test and brought it back within the 21-day period for your IIF achievement. If you are currently safety netting your patient by other means, I know a lot of practices safety net on a spreadsheet or possibly run searches. You can bring all those historic patients onto the dashboard. And you can do that just by clicking the Add Patient button here, popping in their NHS number, searching for the patient, and it will pull them through onto the dashboard from the clinical system, along with any updates that is available for that patient as well. This board can obviously get quite busy. So again, you can search for a patient via the NHS number if you want to look for a particular patient, but you can also filter. So if you, as a clinician, wanted to look for a particular patient that you or your patients that you have referred, you can pop your name in here, and then only your patients will be visible to you. And again, there's lots of other filters as well, just to make it easier to view. Any patients that have sort of sat on that dashboard for a little while, perhaps they had a sort of an update where there has been no cancer found, and you want to move them from the active board into the archive board, you can do that by clicking the dots on the side of the patient's record. But also See the Signs after a while will go, there's not been much happening with this patient. Would you like to move them onto the active board? That way you can still keep track of them, but they're not actually on that day-to-day board. And they will stay on the archive board for 15 months. And the reason why we keep them there for that period of time is just gives you an opportunity to go back and run any audits if you need to. Practices, possibly when they've had significant events, have gone back and wanted to check that patient, and that all that information just easily there for you. And then the final tab is the practice data tab. And this is normally quite handy for anyone that's interested in practicing data, maybe the practice manager. It will talk you through how many patients have been risk assessed in your practice, how many referral forms have been sent, the type of referrals. Is there a trend in practice? Is there sort of different sort of cancers that are more sort of increased in your practice, the type of investigations as well that you're doing? Really easy to sort of run any audits from this as well. And you compare data against your ICB and NHS England data as well. Now, many practices use this board for their MDT meetings. So we popped in at the bottom just a space where you can write any meeting notes, any reflections, anything that needs to be sort of picked up along the line, and they will save to this dashboard as well. So again, you've got everything all in one place for you. So I have obviously gone through the dashboard quite quickly. Obviously, it's not really difficult to use. We've tried to keep it as simple as possible, just because we appreciate that you're busy enough in practice, you don't want anything too complicated to use. I can follow up today with any slides, any guides. I can book an individual training for any practices that would like it, attend practice meetings or lunchtime sessions, whatever is easiest really, I can come along and just talk staff through using the dashboard. Has anybody got any questions at all?
I think there is a comment in the chat. I don't know if you can access the chat, Nikki.
Bear with me 1 second. Is this the safety netting, the Rushden, the safety netting
Yes.
question? Bear with me through. I'm not aware whether that current process is due to change or not, to be fair. Anything that sort of anything that sort of goes in your area, I'm not aware of. So it might be worth just checking that to see whether that process remains in place or not. Unfortunately, I can't help on that one.
Thank you, Nikki. I don't know if there's any more questions whilst we... Oh, there's a hand up.
Hi, Catherine.
See if we can... Oh, sorry, Catherine. Hang on. I'll try and unmute you. Craig might be quicker. Hang on.
Oh, I can see Catherine's message in the chat.
Lovely.
Yes, Catherine, more than happy to do some practice training. So I can come along to a lunchtime event, a practice meeting, or just a time that suits you. We can run everything via Teams just to make it easier. So do get in touch. I'm literally just popping our support email in the chat. So hopefully you can see that. And we'll happily work around. If I can't do it, then one of my colleagues will be more than happy to do any training sessions. And great, before I leave, I will pop in sort of the links to our guides. So again, you can easily sort of access any videos there as well. Just give me 1 second. So that one there. And then there is a very short little video which is being done by our clinical lead that sort of carries and sort of goes over the more clinical aspect of the dashboard as well, which hopefully some people will find useful. So that's just going in there as well.
There's a question, will Arden's 2-week wait forms be going at some point?
That might be a question to speak to the ICB about. I know down the line, once people are familiar with using the system, the idea was that all other routes of referral would be turned off so that it will be just through the See the Signs dashboard. We sort of work with the ICB quite closely to ensure all those referral forms remain up to date, so there's no risk of using an out-of-date form.
That's great, thank you. Is there any more questions from anyone whilst we have Nikki here? Looking like it is. And then the slides, Nikki, will you send them across to us to forward out, or?
Yeah, no problem at
wonderful.
all. I'll send you over the slide deck as well. And if anybody's got any questions, to email support. I'm your lead for Northamptonshire anyway, so moving forward, if there's any questions, they'll come to me anyway, and then I can reach out to you all.
That's fabulous. Thank you very much. I don't think there's any more questions.